All right. Good afternoon, students. I wanted to post some help on the internet for you to get you started on your homework, and you can look up and make sure that you have everything going on that you need. So we talked about scatter plots today, and a scatter plot is a relationship between a data with two variables graphed over pairs. We've done this before. We've graphed two variables as ordered pairs. Um, we've done it. We've been dealing with linear relationships mostly, but this is just any type of relationship that we have. And so we talked about there being positive relationships, talked about there being negative relationships, and no relationship at all. And as you see the positive relationship, we see this whenever x increases, y also increases. And then we see negative relationships where x increases, we see y decrease as we go out. And then no obvious pattern is just kind of anywhere all over the place. And we saw an example of the no obvious pattern whenever we're looking at the ice cream sales in 2 weeks of May. Just kind of all over the place. There's no real way to predict what's happening next. When we do have relationships, though, we can use those relationships to help us make a conjecture about what's going to happen next. Right? We can get a good idea of where things may be in the future. Right? We may not know exactly where that is, but we can get a good idea. So on your homework today, here we had uh, just first of all explain whether the scatter plot for the data for each of the following shows a positive, negative, or no relationship. Right? And I think you can see this that depending on what's going on, that we see if x is increasing 100, 200, 300, 400, what's happening to the y variables? Um, well, as it's at 100, one of our first ones is 100, and then our y variable is 9, right? And so the next looks to be about maybe 150 here, 150, and y is 2, right? So it went way down. As x went up just some, well, as x went up 50, the y went down 7. But as we see the next one at 200, right, it's at 5. So it actually went up again. And that wouldn't be such a bad thing to see maybe a little bit of a jump. But then look what happens next. It goes down, it goes up, down, up, so it's all over the place. So I would say with this one, there's no relationship. And I would write that down here. Of course, I think you can pick out the positive or negative relationships with these other ones. With these, I do actually want you to make the graph. You can use graph paper if you want, if you have any at home. Um, I do want you to make the x and the y axis, and I do want you to have, here's your river width. Here's your water speed. Right? And I want you to graph those. The only important thing here, not the only important thing, but you want to make sure you picked good intervals, um, good scale for this. We see we go from 15 all the way to 45. And, there's some, doesn't really jump by an even number every time. So maybe we would go by 5s throughout that and just not have very much there at the very beginning. 5, 10, and so on. And then here for your water speed, your y coordinates, you would want, we have everything as low as 3.9 and up to 12.6. So it wouldn't be very hard just to say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, up to 13 to get above that 12.6. But we would want to make sure that we're doing our best to graph, these decimals in between the lines. You could even go by halves if you wanted to make enough space there. So this is your homework for tonight. Today is March 11th or March 10th, sorry. So hopefully you'll get this, you'll do well with it, and you'll be able to turn that in tomorrow for a good grade. All right, have a good evening.